Hi, this is Nikki. Sorry, I got cut off. So this is part 2 of this reading. So just quickly, just as a recap, on the divine counterpart side, it is all about basically wanting to have a caring and intimate connection, but they're being pushed to take that leap of faith, and they're going through a big phase of healing. And so then on our side, this is again amazing. So basically taking on more light energy, opening up of the crown chakra, and the energy then that we're taking away from the union was all about being some anxiety, because we want to be in the connection and we feel like we're like shut out of the connection. So there is a bit of heartache. But this is why it's so great, because the cards, they never lie, because also it is about perception. So the key thing to know for us is we have this crown chakra awareness and crown chakra opening at the heart of us. So all of this anxiety, all of this envy of wanting to be, feeling like we're not in the union and we're being excluded and we're chained to the outside is, and this is really important because this is deceiving our soul, right? So we can work through that energy, let that energy go, because that is not what our soul purpose is, because our soul purpose knows that we are here to build this strong connection, this sacred connection, which is all about the sacral chakra, intimacy and romance. So you can see how unbelievably on point these cards are for what has gone on for the last few days, and I can vouch for this because this is exactly the experience that I've gone through over the last few days, having met up with my twin. Because the conversation that we had, he asked me for help with his work, because he wasn't getting basically this whole daughter value completely rings true, because he was saying that he doesn't have buyers for his he does reupholstery. So like with anything creative, you can make it, but you then need to have somebody to actually buy it. So that came through. All of this is exactly what kept played out. On our side again, there is this sense of anxiety. Don't worry, that is because, we have this sense of we just want to be with them, right? And that's why we're chained to the old, because there is this sense of sadness. But it's okay. You just realize that you're two hearts that beat as one. This too shall pass, right? This is the message. This too shall pass. What we are wanting then, and this is just brilliant, is look, we want to have patience, because we know that we're on a soul path. We want to have patience because the twin flame energy is at the heart of us. We know that we're on the soul path. And the guidance for us is mirroring what has triggered in you. Again, if you go back to the messages from the last few days, the meeting with my twin again triggered so much in me, and it was all those feelings of like, about, what, you're still with not that I said it to him, but I was thinking, what, you're still with her, you joking? And then making me think that I'm not good enough, and all of these things, like instant triggers, instant things that our ego takes over, right? And so this is exactly what's happening, which is why what we need is we need to have patience. We need to have divine timing. We need to trust that this is our soul growth, and that isn't always matching what our ego wants for us. And it's, the ego is great, but equally it's good to have the ego in check because what is that's being mirrored to you at the moment? This is the message. Who or what is triggering you? Because it's happening for a reason. So everything around our energy is completely 100% of what I felt over the last few days. I felt all of this. I felt deep anxiety. I felt that sense of envy about his relationship. I felt this, heartbroken a little bit. But ultimately, this like roller coaster took a big dip, and now it's on the up again, because I'm like, I know that all came up because it's been mirrored to me for a reason. Because, I need to take another level of patience and divine timing and trust in this unfolding of the journey. So again, So the reason why I'm sharing it is because it was so accurate for me and what's happened recently. So I thought if it's accurate for me, then it will help someone else as well. So that's why I'm sharing it. The other guidance for us is be bold and make the first move, which is hilarious because, again, in my situation, then it is me making the first move and arranging to meet up and things. And so that's the thing. Trust the cards because, again, they never lie. They always come through with exactly what you need to know. Which is why also the overall message for this whole reading is surrender to the divine. Is basically saying trust. You know, you are on this path for a reason. It is happening for a reason. And this is the message. The very word climax brings all sorts of ideas and images to mind, but it really is the feeling of this card. Life is coming to a head, a point, a conclusion, or a turning point. There may be some kind of change and possibly even some sort of emotional explosion. Tune into your emotions now and see what they're telling you. You see how crazy accurate? Look, it is, because the grounding energy for this whole read is about feeling that sense of emotion. You know, it's the feeling of sense of loss that we're looking at the connection and we're not in the connection yet, right? And that's why it's saying, look, you just need, this is a perception that you're on the outside. You're in it, you know, you're creating this incredible connection energetically because this is what you're both wanting, this beautiful caring connection. And you're working with the universal energies to create it. So tune into your emotions now and see what they're telling you. They're very likely close to the surface. No matter when in the moon cycle you've pulled this card, matters will soon conclude and you'll find out whether or not your wishes are going to come true. The odds are in your favour, as this is a positive card, but you may need to work harder than usual to keep cool as events unfold. So, a wish you made may be about to come true. It's time to let go of the past. You may need to forgive someone to release negative energy. Okay, everything that has come up over the last few days, because equally I had to, you know, release all the negativity from the past, thinking, oh, is this just going to turn out like it's always turned out, getting annoyed by the same cycles coming up again, you know, all of these things. And so this is 100% spot on for what's been happening. So the other message for us was about being bold and making the first move. And so this is, again, it's about listening to your intuition and following up on it. So the message is, now is the time to be bold, bossy even. Take matters into your own hands. Cardinal signs are powerful and self-starting. They're determined and great at organising. Drawing this card strongly suggests that you're going to need to be all of those things to get your ideal resolution or position in the situation you're asking about. This card may challenge you on how strongly you really want something. If you're worrying about a situation, it is a suggestion to be less passive. Instead, take an assertive stance as you steer events where you want them to go. Speak up for what you want. If you're serious about sorting things out, you may need to take the lead in some way, to step up as a leader. Come into your power. The time for action is now. Ask Ganesha, the Hindu elephant god, for help. So that's, again, really interesting. Asking the Hindu elephant god for help, because I had a pink elephant when I was a little girl. And this is just a quick story about trusting your intuition. And my pink elephant, I was completely obsessed with. And so pink elephant is also Dumbo. And this is about trusting your intuition. And so this pink elephant, I was, my cuddly toys were all put into a basket. And this one day and they've been in the basket there for months, years even. But this one particular day I came back from school, opened up the basket and it was empty. There was nothing in there. And so I ran downstairs and I was like desperately in tears, crying, because the pink elephant had gone. And my mum said, how did you... And basically that very day, my mum she'd taken all of my toys to the secondhand shop, to the charity shop. And so, because she'd done a clear out, so she'd taken everything to the to the charity shop. And she just said, how did you know to look in there today? I've just taken them. And so that's your intuition, right? That's the intuition calling you. And if you've watched the film Dumbo, there are so many signs and messages all the way through that film. So it's just another message to say, follow your intuition, trust what it's telling you, and whatever's been happening for you, like this card it says, it's been mirroring. You know, there's been a huge mirroring going on because we have the mirror. They have the leap of faith, to take that leap of faith to change their life, and healing. You know, they've got they've got two healing cards on their side, right? The healer of the ages and the healing, and it's all because they want to have more of an intimate relationship. This is what they want. They want a caring connection with you. And what's holding them back is all of the practical stuff at the moment. But because basically they know, their soul knows that they're also creating heaven on earth. And with that means they want to be in the right situation. You know, they want it to be right. So that's the message. And so spot on. As I said, completely spot on to the energies that I was feeling over the last few days. Completely played out in the actual connection and meeting that I had with my twin. You know, to this point, you know, the fact that it's all about practical and money and wanting to fit in the right place, that is exactly the conversation that we had. So, again, there you go. That's what is going on. For those that are on a similar path to me and resonate with my messages, then just know it's all coming. Just trust in divine timing, and believe. It will happen for you. All right, I hope that helps. Take care. Bye.